Greetings, Intertrons people. It's Jay Grant again. I'm going to go into something in this video that I was putting off until later, but some things happened in the last week or so, and 16 different people have been blowing up my messages and such, asking me a very particular question. I really didn't want to do this video this early on. Of all the videos I do, this one is probably going to cause the most argument. I do moderate all the comments on my YouTube videos, and no flame wars, please. People have very strong opinions about this topic, and they love to argue about it. So, let's do this! Wheeeeee. Okay, so originally I was going to make 2 videos about this, but then I realized that the first video, I was going to do a bunch of the big rules of gun safety, and I just realized, no, screw that. Survival and guns in modern America are inextricably linked. Horror movie, guns save the day. Action movie, guns save the day. Survival movie, guns save the day. Apocalypse movie. Yeah. This is because guns are, like it or not, just driven into the DNA of American society. We worship guns. And that's just how it is. Outside of fiction, though, in an urban disaster, you may feel safer if you have a firearm, but you do not need one to survive. I think I heard a whole bunch of my friends' jaws dropping. I don't own a fuck ton of guns because I'm a survivalist. I own them because I like guns. I'm a collector, I hunt, I do a lot of range days, but my survival skills for the majority of my life have had nothing to do with firearms. Let me repeat this. You do not need a firearm to survive an emergency or disaster. Not real ones. Flooding, ice storms, earthquakes, forest fires, volcanoes, plagues, heat waves, tornadoes, infrastructure failures, civil unrest. You can absolutely survive all of these in the urban areas without ever touching or owning a firearm. But people in my life for years now, anytime they think shit's about to go sideways, ask me what kind of gun to go run out and get for survival or defense purposes. I usually start by trying to dissuade them, especially if they have no prior firearms experience. So I'm not making a firearms 101 video for beginners here. Just go take lessons. Get well educated, get experienced if you really think you want a firearm. As for what the best survival guns are, here we go. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of arguments. Be forewarned, there will be some pretty graphic images of gore in this video. I'll put up a little warning, and when that happens, you can skip ahead. Like, I'm just guessing 15 seconds or so. First, handguns. Don't bother. This isn't the movies. In a survival situation, pistols are not great firearms for anything. They lack stopping power and have a much more limited range. Their accuracy is not as good. With practice, some people, including people I've known, they get good to about 50 yards with a pistol in a controlled situation. And that's really rare. Most people at 50 yards, no, they're not going to be matchbooking, as it's called, with a pistol. Handguns are not what you want when the shit hits the fan. Get a long gun. In a survival situation, you want a firearm that can be used for 2 purposes. 1, for defense, and 2, for hunting. A wise man pointed out many years ago to me that a deer and a human being, in most cases, have very similar organs and mass. Any firearm that can effectively stop a deer can also stop a human, and vice versa. If this is your first firearms purchase, these are 2 guns I personally recommend. Let's start with the Ruger 1022. I have owned 3 of these in my life. The first one lasted me about 8 years of almost weekly shooting and was still running fine when we sold it. The second one was purchased in 2008 and is still running perfectly. This gun fires a .22 long rifle cartridge. This is one of the smallest calibers you can obtain on the civilian market, and I already can foresee thousands of gun twats bitching about how this bullet is too small for a survival situation. Anyone who thinks that a .22 LR round is just a .22 needs to understand these bullets still do nasty damage to living targets. Not only have I hunted and killed more animals with this exact round than all others combined, I also got to witness the aftermath of a friend's mistake several years ago. He broke a few of my major 4 rules and managed to shoot himself in the hand with a .22 LR. As you can see, he didn't have a good time. It did permanent tendon and nerve damage. If you were to hit an attacker's center mass 3 or 5 times, they're probably going to stop doing what it was they were doing that caused you to react so. Ammo for the .22 is relatively inexpensive and lightweight. Recoil is almost non-existent out of most firearms. The report is relatively quiet, and it's accurate to about 100 yards or more with practice. In normal times, it is illegal to hunt deer in most states with a .22 rimfire. However, every year here in Texas, the .22 rifle is one of the most popular weapons used by poachers to take deer. At time of recording, you can pick up a 10/22 brand new for about $300. Many other .22 LR rifles also exist. Do a little research. If you're interested in something more versatile that packs a bigger wallop, a good pump-action shotgun in either 12 gauge or 20 gauge is my other recommendation. Whichever you choose, you will want an 18.5-inch barrel and a regular buttstock, not a pistol grip with no butt. Shotguns of this nature tend to operate reliably, and you can choose different types of ammunition to suit your needs. The best model of pump shotgun is any of them. Seriously, I've owned Mossbergs, Winchesters, Remingtons, H&Rs. If it's a pump shotgun, it should be fine. They all basically operate the exact same way, and any difference is mostly cosmetic, with the exception of the ambidextrous placement of the Mossberg 500 safety switch. Shotguns pack a wallop to both the target and your shoulder. The report is much, much louder. The recoil is stronger, but with buckshots or slugs, pretty much any target up to a black bear or elk should be dead if you had good shot placement. You probably don't need a lot of consecutive follow-up shots if you have practiced with your shotgun. You can also load birdshot for smaller games, such as rabbits, squirrels, and birds. And there are other weirder rounds out there, but we're not going to waste time on that. You can pick up a brand new pump shotgun right now for anywhere from $200 to $500. Now, on to the part for people who do know firearms. What's, in my opinion, the best long gun for survival? Having done a lot of research over the years, I can say with some finality, any gun that you would trust your life to that can effectively take a deer. If that seems vague, good. If you really do know guns and own some, then you probably can already think of a firearm that you trust to reliably function. One that you're familiar with and aren't afraid of it jamming or whether you can hit a target with it. If you like the AR-15, fine. If you like the AK, cool. If you prefer an SKS, groovy. If you feel a solid connection to your Mossberg, awesome. If a double-barrel coach gun is your jam, rock on, you crazy diamond. Any gun that you feel is reliable and that you're the most familiar with should be your survival gun. No, I'm not going to tell you what my favorite is. My personal favorite doesn't matter. The reasons I like it might not be the reasons other people would or would not. Whatever firearm you choose, I recommend keeping 200 rounds of ammunition in your survival stores. You can get more than that, but 200 is just a basic bare minimum. This should be, in a survival situation, enough ammunition to last you for years. You're not likely to be getting into firefights on a daily basis or even annually. You shouldn't be popping rounds off like crazy at animals that you're hunting unless you're a really bad hunter. And bullets don't really go bad in my experience. I've fired rounds that were older than I am, and as long as you keep them clean and dry, ammunition should maintain cohesion and reliability for decades. No homework on this one. If you really do want to get a gun, then figure out what kind you want. Try it out at a range before buying your own, and once you've purchased it, become very familiar with that weapon. In our next video, we talk about radios. Have a great day.